So today we're going to talk about your spell check in Word, and this is going to lead into a video that I'm going to do next week that talks about disabling spell check in a document and where that causes just tons of headaches for people. So first of all, let's just talk about spell check. First way to run a spell check in Word is you can do it as you go. So as you can see throughout this Word document, it's underlined in red different spelling mistakes that I've made. If I wanted to fix one right away, so for example, I have word spelled with a U. So if I wanted to fix that, you could simply right click on it. Gives you suggestions right here. You could ignore it, or you could even add that to your dictionary, which we'll talk about in a second. So if you choose the suggestion that you want, it automatically changes it and away you go. So this is checking spelling as you type, as you go along in Word. And that's using right click. The other way, of course, is to actually run a spell check. Now, where you can run a spell check is if you go over to the Review tab, there's a button at the very beginning of that ribbon called Spelling and Grammar. You can click that. Or you could use the F7 key on your keyboard. F7 is always spell check in your different Office programs. So for now, I'm just going to use the button. I'll click the button. It starts the spelling checker, which pops up over in the task pane here, and it hits the first spelling mistake it found based on where my cursor was. If my cursor was at the top of the document, it would have hit the first one. So it finds the spelling mistake, or shows you the spelling mistake here, and then gives you any suggestions below. You can choose the suggestion you want. If you use change, that will change this one instance. If you said change all, if you spelled picture incorrectly, just like this, throughout your document, it will change all of those instances to the correct spelling. So I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to hit change. Next one, options with 2 S's. Sure, I'd like that one. Change. And then the first one, it says there is no suggestions for this word because it's spelled correctly, but you can see in the document it's just repeated twice. So I could actually even have the option here to delete the second instance of that word. Again, I have one here that I could change. Now, one thing you could do instead of change is you could ignore, which would ignore this one instance. You could ignore all. Does not mean it's going to ignore all your spelling mistakes. It's going to ignore this particular spelling mistake throughout the entire document, not just that one instance. And then you have add, which is a bit of a dangerous one, but this adds it to your custom dictionary. So if your name is constantly a spelling mistake, that comes up with myself a lot. So I usually end up adding my name to the dictionary, so it doesn't see it as a spelling mistake. So you can add words to the dictionary that aren't recognized, assuming that you're, certain that you want that spelling now in your dictionary. And then once you're done, I'm just going to change this one as well. Brings you back to your document. It says the spelling and grammar check is complete. You're good to go. So hit OK, and again, away you go. And you can run the spell check whenever you'd want. You can run it again and again and again throughout your document. Always a good idea before printing or maybe emailing the document. Always run your spell check. It's a good thing to do, good habit to get into when writing your Word documents.